Welcome back everybody to Smooth Operator, the series where we try and take Carlos Sainz and beat Ferrari and Hamilton for effectively taking his seat in the 2025 season. Next up we're going to Austria, but first let's take a look at how the previous race panned out. Alright, taking a look at the Canadian Grand Prix Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Max Verstappen won the race, doing really well this season. Oscar Piastri, second place. Yuki Tsunoda actually getting his first podium. And then Lando Norris in fourth, Lewis Hamilton in fifth. And with a late red flag, Carlos Sainz actually managed to push hard on some soft tires and get up into sixth position. It was looking like we were going to get around P8 or P9 throughout the whole race. And Carlos even picked up some damage on the Wall of Champions throughout the race. But late red flag meant that we could fit some nice and fresh soft tires and just push until the end. I think it was a 3-lap push, and Carlos managed to overtake quite a couple of cars in that space. And also Alexander Albon scoring a nice 2 points as well. And taking a look back at the standings, Lando Norris still in the lead of the championship with 182 points. Max Verstappen in second, very close behind. You can see here Lando with 5 race wins and 6 podiums. And then Max even with 4 wins and 7 podiums. Even though he doesn't have quite the best car, he's still putting it up there. Oscar Piastri in third. Lewis Hamilton fourth, which is obviously our target for the season, but it's getting harder and harder as we're almost 100 points behind. Charles Leclerc in fifth, then comes George Russell in the Mercedes. Carlos Sainz in a nice 7th position, but both Tsunoda and Kimi Antonelli getting closer. Liam Lawson in 10th, Lance Stroll in 11th, Fernando 12th, Gasly, Bortoleto, Behrman. Then Alex Albon in 16th now after his previous point scoring tally. And Nico Hulkenberg 17th, Ocon 18th, Doohan, and then Hadjar to round it out. And the constructors, McLaren still have a demanding lead with 335 points. Ferrari 252. Red Bull 231, but you can see here the last Grand Prix, 40 extra points for Red Bull, which is quite significant. Mercedes then in 4th, Williams in 5th, which is us, of course. We're about 90 points behind Mercedes, and 89 to be exact. So yeah, we have a lot of work to do if we want to beat out Mercedes this season. I think for the rest of the constructors, I don't think we're really challenging anyone. But, I mean, we're going to give it our best shots. We have plenty of upgrades coming in. Aston in 6th, Alpine 7th, Kick Sauber 8th, actually, which is pretty good. Haas 9th, and Racing Bulls 10th. All right, and then taking a look at the calendar, we have a new suspension coming in, which I should be able to manufacture before the Austrian Grand Prix. And then we have another rear wing that is also coming in. We'll have to see if we have enough money coming in to manufacture those both. Maybe I can emergency manufacture the rear wing for the weekend, but we'll see how we space that out. And then if we take a look even a bit further, we have another chassis just before the British Grand Prix that comes in. And yeah, we're really starting to pick up momentum, and I hope that after these parts are complete, we can, manufacture or design some more great parts to fill up, and really hope that we have that really strong second part of the season to make up for Carlos. Alright guys, so the suspension has been completed. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a downgrade when it comes to some corner speed. So we're gonna move on to this rear wing and see if we can manufacture this one for the race and maybe even start the next design. Alright guys, so our rear wing has been completed. We've manufactured one for the coming race and emergency manufacturing. And then we are straight on to designing our next rear wing. We have a chassis underway and a front wing. Unfortunately for the rest, I don't have any funds to keep developing, but let's hope we get some good results here at Austria. And then we can keep moving up with our development strategy. All right, guys, looking now at the performance here before we head into the race. 9th on paper for Carlos Sainz, but it's a bit of a wrong image perhaps, because dirty air tolerance, tire preservation, and engine cooling is less important for us. So that averages out our performance a bit. But as you can see, low speed 6th, medium and high speed 7th. So I think we're in a good shot to qualify close to that top 6, and maybe in Austria with the DRS we might be able to pull something off and you know, get a pretty good race under our belts. But let's get into qualifying. Just before we head into qualifying, you can see here rain for most of the practice and qualifying, but then the race should be nice and sunny, so we have that as an advantage. The only thing is that our qualifying might be a little bit worse because obviously we rely on the DRS to kind of carry us up in the qualifying as well. But then again, we have a good car, a good downforce heavy car now, so let's see what we can do. Alright guys, before we head into qualifying, there was a bit of a calamity during practice. So Carlos Sainz is he got taken out by Isaac Hadjar, the real menace that Hadjar is this season. He's had loads of DNFs, but you can see now it destroyed part of our engine. It fully destroyed a gearbox as well, and we've actually had to emergency manufacture some suspension and a rear wing because else we would have to take the previous iterations, and that would just be like a massive performance loss. That does now mean financially we're in a bit of trouble, so yeah, we'll see how it goes, but we need the performance. We need to start gaining some points. And then on top of that, in practice 3, there was also a collision between the two Mercedes teammates, Antonelli and George Russell. They were out of practice 3 with that collision, so I think Antonelli will be getting a penalty at the start of this race as well, a grid drop. So we'll see how it all plays out, and maybe we need to start thinking about looking for some different sponsorships to cover the cost of all these crashes, because it's getting rough out there. All right, heading into qualifying 1. Let's see here. How's the weather? It's only gonna get worse, I think. So we're just gonna send Sainz out. So also Albon. Let's get them out for their first lap. Let's hope they don't get blocked by anyone. There we go. So Sainz out for his first lap. And let's see now. Seems like there might be a little bit of a spell where it is a little bit drier towards the middle, but I'm not in high hopes. Our weather center isn't too great. Let's take a look at the track details. So yeah, we're only going to get this very short space of time where the track is still relatively not dry, but not as wet as the rest of the session is going to be. So what is it going to be? Across the line we go, and it's going to be a 107.922. Albon goes only 2.5 tenths slower, so that's not much. And let's see as everyone comes across the line. Okay, it's very close. So the two Mercs slightly faster, but we're still looking good here. Yeah, track is now ramping up, so I don't think we'll be able to go out anymore here in Q1, and this will probably be us through to Q2. Hopefully. I don't see any point of going out anymore. The track is way too wet, so we're just gonna sit in the pits. We don't want to risk any crashes or anything, so this will be it for Q1. Alright, heading into Q2, it is insanely wet. It looks like the weather is gonna clear up towards the end of the session, but we might as well get a lap in on the wet tires. So Sainz coming through the last corners here in Q2. Again, this will probably just be a banker lap, as it's gonna get the rain is gonna ease up towards the end of this session, but let's see what he puts on the board. Even the other drivers aren't even coming out so far. 113, so yeah, about 3 seconds slower than 6 seconds slower than what the laps were in Q1. There we go. Yeah, we're dropping all the way to the back, of course, with the track still improving. And let's actually see here. Is it gonna ease up a bit further? Yeah, it sure looks like it. So we want to try and time it so that we're the last ones across the line. All right, so on board with Carlos Sainz, about to start his lap. So is Albon. About a minute on the clock. And the track should dry up as we, get through our lap. So without any mistakes, this should be a really good lap and should see us definitely progress into Q3. Bortoleto on the cusp as well. He's put in a good lap, but obviously all of those laps will be improved on now. And let's actually see, is everyone on inters? Yes, they sure are. Doohan momentarily goes to the top. Sainz now into sector 1, 18.7. Second sector, 31.87. What will it be for? A bit slower for Albon, but not too far off. Again, Albon doesn't seem that far off. Through the last corner now, Sainz, what will it be up to the line? Surely we get into Q3. Let's see, across the line, and it is P6. Okay, very nice. And Albon, P10. Okay, very good, very good. So that'll be it then. Both of our drivers through to Q3. Again, we're just going to initially put a banker lap down here in Q3. Still raining, but if we take a look at the track details again, it looks like it might ease up a little bit towards the end of the session again. So it's going to get a little bit wetter on our current lap. But then if we time it right again, we should be able to get a good lap in again. And let's hope Carlos can be around that P6 for the race. All right, 40 seconds to go here in Q3. We've put Sainz out on a fresh set of inters, so and the same with Albon. So far, Sainz actually up into P4, which very surprising. But let's hope our qualifying pace is actually as good. And we'll see now. Again, we've put ourselves in a good position here to have the best track conditions possible. And then we're going to see Hamilton finishes. He doesn't improve. Sainz is improving. So let's see what it is for all those drivers there. They're in a long train. Charles Leclerc goes to the top. Then Piastri. Verstappen still has to finish. Okay, so Verstappen was maybe the last car out. And here comes Sainz through the last corner. No purple sectors, of course. We're a bit far off of purple sectors, I think. But let's see, what does it become? P5? P5 and P7? Okay. Oh, we're in a position to do something here. Maybe Verstappen will still take the crown, or is he not on a flying lap? No, Verstappen's not on a flying lap, so that'll be it. P5 for the start of the race. All right, guys, so really good qualifying session. I'm really happy with it. Oscar Piastri in P1 takes pole position. Charles Leclerc not too far behind. Then Lando Norris in third. Max Verstappen in fourth. Carlos Sainz in P5, so let's hope we can hang on to that DRS train and then move up with those front runners. George Russell in sixth. Seventh, Alexander Albon. So we can potentially try and use Albon as a helping hand for Carlos Sainz. Fernando Alonso in eighth. Lewis Hamilton in ninth. Liam Lawson in 10th. Nico Hulkenberg 11th. Antonelli down in 12th with a 3-place grid drop. Then Gabriel Bortoleto, who was actually right behind his teammate. Only 6 thousandths between them. Yuki Tsunoda in 14, so bad qualifying from him. Jack Doohan then, Ocon, Ollie Behrman, Pierre Gasly, Isaac Hadjar, and Lance Stroll rounds out the top 20. Alright, 5 red lights are gonna come on here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, and the lights are out. And we're underway now. Sainz in P5, Albon in P7. And we're gonna try and get Sainz up there and at least, follow along with the top 5 here. It's got that new rear wing. Some of the front runners, Piastri with mediums, Sainz then also mediums, Verstappen with softs, as George Russell with a nice overtake coming around the outside. So we'll try to keep up with him, and we really want to kind of make sure that Albon stays behind Carlos Sainz if we can. So for now, taking it fairly easy. And I think with Sainz as well, we want to consider just turning the aggressiveness down with the tires to make sure we don't use up too much of the tire. And the top, what is that? Yeah, top 3 already getting away, or top 2, the 2 McLarens. So Sainz now again trying a move on George Russell. George Russell going defensive, but now we should have DRS. And George Russell does not have DRS, so let's use that to our advantage. And then Albon is now behind George Russell. Coming through the corner there, gonna deploy again. Try to get onto the back of Charles Leclerc, which we do successfully. Also, I just need to use some deployment with Albon to make sure he doesn't drop behind. And then Sainz doing very well here. Let's go on board. So we are keeping up so far with the top 4. And then we'll start conserving our fuel a little bit as well. Leclerc still in front of us. We won't be pulling off an overtake, I don't think. Oh, maybe we are. Sainz looking feisty now, but Leclerc getting a good run now in the slipstream. And here's where we relax with Albon as well. There we go. Albon does pull off a move now in P6. So definitely a race where we're looking good. Keeping up with the front runners very nicely so far. And we have an assistant manager. Assistant manager Stitch. Assistant manager. Time to consider maybe saving the tires a little bit. Can. Go. Verstappen again in the lead. Somehow he always manages to get out in front. Let's see if we can start saving our tires a little bit. Just be on the back of Leclerc. Oh, one of the McLarens is off. Piastri is off.
Good job, good job.
Very nice. And here comes Hamilton and Albon now. So that is very good. One of the McLarens out of the running, and we're in P4 now. So very positive news here. 2 soft runners at the front. And this is where we might be able to make a difference now if we manage to save our tires behind Leclerc. Go off the tire saving mode just so we can see if we can get up close to Verstappen and Norris. We get DRS again, so that might allow us to close up to Lando Norris here. And this is the first time we've actually been seriously up to pace here. So we're going to use our deployment. If we can latch on to the back of Norris now, that would be incredible. Norris with an issue as well, I think. So here we go onto the back of Norris, and we're doing it really well here. Albon now onto the back of Lewis Hamilton.
Right, so this was the 4th corner.
Jack Doohan running slightly wide, and that's going to make him lose any positions he had. The only one in the rear there is, I think, Hadjar. Hadjar, like I said before, he's been a real menace throughout the series. He's been crashing left, right, and center, colliding with different drivers. And actually, Sainz might be getting outside the second range here with Leclerc, which would be ideal. And all we want to try and do now is basically keep up with Norris if we can. And I'm interested to see what kind of strategy they have planned out, McLaren, because it is a very, very aggressive strategy here on those soft tires. As you can see, they're already down, but I assume they will do soft, medium, medium, probably, whilst we have to do medium, hard, medium, maybe. But we'll see. I think we'll move on to the medium tires whenever we can, and we're now gonna actually push a little bit because Lando Norris is doing the same. So he's forcing our hand here a little bit. He's trying to get past Verstappen. And ideally, I don't want those two getting away from us. And right onto the back of Verstappen now. Again, this is where we try and maybe save our tires a little bit. Verstappen still onto the back of Norris, so that's not an issue at all. And yeah, here we just try to hold on, save our tires a little bit. Verstappen will catch up with Norris either way, so... And again, we have to think about deploying with Sainz, because we're losing touch again with the front two. And now Norris as well, losing touch with Verstappen. And we're just trying to make this work as best as we can. Again, we're going to be deploying down the next two straights. Norris might have dropped out of DRS here. I think he has. Yep, Verstappen now putting in a fastest lap. Again, going into the deployment, we'll deploy again. Or going into the braking zone, we'll harvest some more. We get DRS. Okay, this is positive. Ooh, and then question being, do we try and push up to max? Ooh, and now a severe issue for Norris, so here's where we might have to consider taking over from him. And see more issues behind. Hulkenberg had some sort of spin, but it's all kicking off now. Verstappen now getting away. So Hulkenberg coming out of turn 3. Yep, just has a spin. Gets going straight away again, but yeah, he's going to have lost a lot of time. And up the inside goes Sainz now of Lando Norris. This shouldn't be too hard of a move because Norris is having some serious issues now. We can see how much time we're losing, but we really just want to get into clean air now, I think, with Sainz. So we're just going to harvest here. And then maybe do the same on this straightaway because we'll have DRS anyway. And then we should be getting DRS if we don't overtake in front of the corner. There we go. And then we'll deploy here with the DRS. Try to get past Norris into the clean air and maybe chase down Max. But I think that'll be a bit too much of an ask. Norris going very defensive. Is Sainz going to send it up the inside? No, he cannot. So again, we're just going to try and harvest some ERS here. Hamilton now closing up. So yeah, I want to make this move here somewhere. We can. So we'll just use regular deployment now down the straightaway to try and get Sainz past here. Try to get him past Norris. Hope Norris doesn't go defensive again. Okay, there we go. We're past now. Let's hope we can pull away from Norris. Let's hope he doesn't try to re-challenge into the braking zone here. No, we're good for now. Norris is going to come back past. So we'll just harvest some ERS. Russell is getting very close now. So yeah, we'll be back into a train formation, I think.
Alonso behind you.
We'll deploy as well with Albon to try and make him not lose touch with the cars ahead. And with Sainz, we're just gonna harvest our ERS. We're not gonna get away, so we really have to thrive off of the DRS train. But Verstappen has just completely run away with this, and Norris again going for the move. And here comes Russell now. We'll let him take over. I think, yeah, here we go. He should be getting DRS from Norris, so let's try and stick behind George now. Russell is now right onto the back of Norris there, so he's gonna probably manage an overtake here. We're gonna get closer once again as Russell tries to make that pass. And then we'll deploy here with Sainz just to defend from Leclerc as well. There we go. Looking good. Albon now still onto the back of Piastri and getting away from the cars behind Lawson, Alonso, Antonelli, and Stroll. In the danger zone here to lose touch with George ahead. Yep, so he's lost DRS. So we'll have to try and deploy down the straightaway to not lose touch with George. Which I'm afraid we might see happening here. Leclerc now also trying to come through, so here's where we're starting to lose a little bit of our pace. Tsunoda still on the softs behind. Norris is on the softs. We're on the mediums, which should be, you know, a slight advantage at least. But and this is turning from bad to worse now as Sainz is dropping out of that top 5. We really need Norris to push here. And Leclerc is in a really good shape now because he has those hard tires. And that's actually, I'm going to try and push here just for like half a lap with Sainz to try and maybe catch up to Leclerc ahead. So Tsunoda comes through. We're going to try and stick with him, maybe lose Norris if we can. Alright, there we go. That'll be enough for now. Onto the back of Tsunoda again. But yeah, lots of managing needed right now. This is definitely very micro-intensive, but you can see now Tsunoda might be able to lift us up back towards Russell and Leclerc in front. That's what we're looking for. A little bit of fuel saved. Let's see. Might have to consider, yeah, overtaking Tsunoda here just so we secure ourselves from Hamilton. So through goes Sainz again. I'm sure Tsunoda will overtake us again on the next straightaway. Albon now in a lonely P9.
Right then, we can
Let's take another look at that.
Now here we are tackling turn 3. The gap
So
opens
just
up
nice
for them.
on the straightaway. Gets clear even before the corner into the braking zone. And then Hamilton, you can see there in the background on onto the back of Tsunoda. Piastri is right behind us though, so he can help with our pace if need be. So yeah, let's just get Piastri to take charge here. We'll follow him through. And then Hamilton will be right behind us as well, but we're now in the slipstream. Just onto the back of Piastri, that's what we need. So again, DRS now staying ahead of Lewis Hamilton is Sainz. And slowly losing touch maybe with Piastri, but Albon has now made his pit. No issues there. He came out ahead of Doohan and Antonelli. And then again, let's just have Hamilton maybe take over from us. Verstappen really fast today. You can see he's already fairly close again. He's only 5 seconds behind Sainz and Norris. So, yeah, Verstappen definitely bound to win here today. The right choice now to pit. Piastri, Hamilton are still going, so yeah. Let's hope we can just gain a little bit of time on them. Sainz into the box now. Okay, lap 23 into the box. Let's see what the boys can do. The boys and girls coming into pit. Come on. Don't mess this up, please. There we go. 2.6. Very nicely done. Okay, we're going to very slightly let Sainz push here. Slightly aggressive if we can. There we go. We'll just let him warm up the tires a bit faster. And Albon now as well. It's just been getting the tires up to temp. And now Norris in the pit. So I'm interested to see now with Sainz if we can undercut Norris. It's going to be close. But yeah, we are going to come out ahead of Norris. And let's hope he doesn't get DRS on us for the next straight. There we go. We'll ease down with the aggressiveness now. And now we wait until everyone else in front pits and we see what we can do pace-wise. Let's actually see how the last lap times compare. So Sainz is going to put in, what is it going to be, 109. Yeah, so about a second bit over a second faster than all those cars ahead. Oh, and then Antonelli with an issue. That is good for us.
They've got a fault with the car.
Okay, so nothing in the voice lines, but Antonelli is going to slow down a little bit, which is good. Albon now comfortably in P10. Norris still has that issue he's managing, so he might still drop out. Sainz dropping away from Tsunoda, so Tsunoda doing a good job. And actually, thinking about it here, it might be a Red Bull 1-2 here today. And yeah, it seems like McLaren are going to lose out as well because Norris has that issue. And we'll see if we have to save some more fuel throughout the stint. But actually, we're looking pretty good on our fuel. As long as we don't go into the push mode, I think we're saving a decent amount of fuel already. And if need be, we can still save it on the last stint. Alright, so Lawson now with a spin. Oh, goes off really, really hard. So I'm surprised there's no safety car there. But he's apparently he's still going, but that was a really, really violent crash. Norris is now pitted for fresh tires. So comes out on another set of mediums. Okay, so they're going to go medium, medium, soft probably. And we're too far away with Sainz to even think about trying something. We can try and deploy here on the straightaway, but yeah, I don't think that is going to be an option. And we actually get pushed wide there by Norris, which screwed us over a little bit. So the undercut not too effective, and now we've definitely lost out all that time we made up throughout this stint. Yeah, we would have been right there. If Hamilton didn't push us wide, we would have been right onto the back of Russell probably. And now we're in danger again of losing out with Norris ahead of us, because he's, for some reason, always, as soon as we get past him, he's pushing really hard, but then as soon as someone else gets past, he's not. So, oh, someone has spun. That's Antonelli, I think. It's good for Albon. Yeah, so Antonelli turns 7, high-speed section. Everything's high-speed here, of course. But, oh, similar to Lawson, actually. Very similar. Does he have damage? I'm not sure. Seems to be fine. But obviously his tires are gonna have taken a hit. But the problem here is Norris. Like I said, again, he's... once he gets behind us, the player, he's pushing really hard, and then as soon as some of the AI come through, he's immediately giving up his push. So that's why we've lost so much time now. But there comes Piastri. Let's see, like I said, if we can utilize him to drag us up a little bit more. He'll be on fresh tires, fresh hard tires. We're getting close to being out of that fight for P5. Another P6 would be very nice, of course, but we're still behind Ferrari, which isn't ideal. Especially knowing now that we have some financial issues coming our way. Alright, so here comes Piastri, lap 36. He's going to push around the outside, and again, Sainz is just going to push him wide, so... that's that over and done with. So more chance for us to harvest some ERS.
If needed.
So let's just deploy here and try to get past Norris in one fell swoop as well. There we go. Oh!
Look after your tires.
Oh!
I cannot believe it. You okay?
Unbelievable. Man, Piastri locking up into us, and more damage.
And you can just feel the frustration from the
man,
team
oh
watching
man.
on the monitors.
Alright, what kind of damage do we have? Chassis and front wing. Oh. I guess we'll have to carry on now, but that is gonna pretty much be the end of our race, I think. I mean, there's no way we're catching up to the McLarens anymore now, and yeah, with that damage, we'll be lucky to stay ahead of Alonso and Gasly. Piastri does pick up a penalty, but it's not gonna matter too much, I don't think. 5 seconds.
We like to increase Lyco.
All right, we're pitting both Albon and Sainz, but man, what an unlucky race again. Where we were fighting for that P6, and that has all gone down the drain now, pretty much.
Oh, it looks like a pit stop issue.
We'll let Sainz push a little bit here on his last lap, but yeah, unfortunate once again. Ay, ay, ay. We've just been very unlucky on that front, I feel like. There we go. Pit stop for Sainz, 2.7 seconds. That's decent enough.
Will emerge in traffic.
Albon now comes in, 2.6. That's also decent enough. Alright, something happened again. Crash involving multiple cars. Let's see here. Lance Stroll and one of the Alpines. I'm not sure if it's Jack Doohan or Gasly. Oh, just a slight tap there, so nothing major. Alright, so last 3 laps here. We're going to try and make Sainz push and use the remaining part of the tires we have to try and catch up to Norris. See how it goes. Crash with multiple cars again. So here's Hamilton. Who does he get hit by? Oh, it's that's gonna be Russell, I guess. I don't know if Hamilton is actually out of the race or if he just has some damage. That could be a late surprise here a little bit. He's going very slow. Visually, I don't really see much.
Ahead.
But is he gonna have to come into the pits? No, but he is going very slow, but I think he's just a bit too far ahead for us to still catch up. That's for sure. But we are trying our best here with Carlos Sainz. Time penalty for Antonelli as well.
Remember, overtake is available.
Let's get the overtake done on Lando Norris.
So we charge the pack.
There we go, heading up into the hairpin. Albon has finished in 10th. Here comes Sainz now. And a second shot of DRS there, and we're gonna secure P7, I believe. Taking it in the last lap from Lando Norris. And we got some more deployment left we're gonna use. Keep pushing the tires, but that should be it over, and there we go. We'll just not push the tires too much in this last lap, but here we go. Sainz is gonna finish in P7 after a very chaotic Austrian Grand Prix, and again ending up with damage towards the end of the race, a front wing and chassis, but at least we get that P7 and we can move on to the next weekend. Across the line comes Sainz, and Verstappen wins, Tsunoda second place, so 1-2 for Red Bull.
And among the drivers heading back to their teams, we see Carlos Sainz.
7th place at the end of that one, and some points for the team.
And no doubt, Verstappen fans will be celebrating the Dutchman's achievement.
Win number 5 is in the bag. They pulled out all the stops, pushing hard to earn that victory.
Well, there were mountains to overcome here in Austria, but those 3 managed to climb to the top. Now, Karun, no doubt there'll be a lot for the teams to process after that race, but how do you think the Williams team are feeling?
Well, it was a bit of a mixed bag here. Some things went their way, but others didn't. I think their main target now will be finding some consistency for sure.
And that's it for this weekend here in Austria.
For the next round, we're heading back to the heart of the UK. Get ready for a race to remember in Silverstone, the cradle of Formula One.
Alright guys, so Max Verstappen finishes in P1 with Yuki Tsunoda in P2, so Red Bull really on the comeback charge now, especially with Piastri and Norris finishing in 6th and 8th. George Russell does end up on the podium, P3, Leclerc P4, Lewis Hamilton in 5th, Oscar Piastri 6th, Carlos Sainz does end up with 7th, could have been much worse, but at least we recovered to 7th. Lando Norris drops down, Ollie Behrman scoring some nice points for Haas, Alex Albon getting inside the points again, Bortoleto in 11th, Lance Stroll 12th, Pierre Gasly 13th, then Liam Lawson, Esteban Ocon, Andrea Kimi Antonelli dropping back, Isaac Hadjar 17th, 18th is Jack Doohan, Fernando Alonso 19th, and Nico Hülkenberg in last. Taking a look at the driver standings, Max Verstappen takes the lead with 199 points, with Lando Norris only earning 4 points, which puts him at 186. Oscar Piastri still in 3rd, Lewis Hamilton in 4th, and Charles Leclerc in 5th. George Russell in 6th and Sainz still in 7th, but you can see now how big of a charge Yuki Tsunoda is making with that 2nd place finish. He's only 10 points behind us, and it's not unlikely that in the next Grand Prix he's going to go overtake Carlos Sainz here in the standings. Andrea Kimi Antonelli dropping back once again a little bit. Liam Lawson still in 10th. Lance Stroll 11th. Fernando Alonso 12th. Pierre Gasly 13th. Then comes Ollie Behrman, Gabriel Bortoleto, and then Alex Albon scoring an extra point, which draws him level with Bortoleto and not too far from Ollie Behrman. Nico Hülkenberg in 17th. Ocon 18th. 19th and 20th, both scoreless, Jack Doohan and Hadjar. Then taking a look at the constructors, McLaren still in the lead with 347 points. Red Bull, though, gaining 43 points and actually gaining 31 points in total over McLaren, which sees them shoot up to 2nd. More wins under their belt, so they'll overtake Ferrari as well, who are now drawn with them. Mercedes in 4th with 15 extra points, and then we get another 7 points. Again, we're really distancing ourselves from the bottom 5 here, but we really need to start picking up the pace if we want to get anywhere close to the 3 teams ahead of us, basically. Maybe just the 2 teams ahead of us. Okay, so both of the race targets have been hit, so at least we get 1.2 million back, but we've had to spend over 2 million to actually emergency manufacture suspension and a rear wing for Carlos Sainz, all because of Hadjar. And yeah, I think it probably is time that we go knocking at the Racing Bull doors and see if we can recover some of those funds, because it's getting a bit unfair at this point how much havoc Isaac Hadjar is creating. So we'll see what we can do about that, but yeah. Okay, so perfectly on time here, guys. Cash from the engagement, the sponsor engagement. We've met the goals. 2.55 million, 2.55 million that we get in the bank, which might actually already make our balance positive again. So no mandatory activities, no payout for that. Alright guys, that has been the Austrian Grand Prix. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please consider dropping a like, maybe subscribing if you want to see more episodes, and then also hitting the bell icon if you want to get notified. I am trying to ramp up the amount of episodes I put out a week, but obviously it takes a bit of time because it is a long editing process because the episodes are so long. But anyway, I want to try and get this series done before F1 25 comes out, because there is some more managerial aspects to that game. And yeah, I hope we can make a good series out of that as well. So if anything, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.